Okay.
For what?
More equipment in the kitchen, I'm assuming, and they replaced the stove again, I don't know, they didn't really say. They already bought a refrigerator to put outside, because Tracy won't have anybody in the kitchen, so if there's any leftovers or anything they need for the Meals on Wheels, they have to be outside. I still think they should be able to rent that in the kitchen. And Bobby said, well, no, all that equipment in that kitchen belongs to the Council on Aging, it doesn't belong to the county. Well, they got grants for all that. It's kind of a wish-wash who actually owns it, but couldn't the Council on Aging rent the kitchen? Because people ask to rent the kitchen when they have functions,
Yeah.
or to utilize it. And maybe you have to have the Council on Aging cook there, overseeing it or something, but that's another problem.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it sounds like at least they're finally being a board.
but they're trying, yeah, they are trying, and I give them kudos for that.
I'm really encouraged.
And of course, they asked about the money, I said, well, I think it's been released.
Sorry about that. I was supposed to do that and I did not. I forgot. I forgot.
That might actually,
That's how we verify that you
we'll
actually.
take, yeah, it's been
They're
taken.
talking about having a separate bus on Saturdays for just shopping. And of course, you don't have to pay something for that, but, you know, you get 6 or 7 seniors in that bus and they'll pool their money and they'll go to Walmart.
Yeah.
Cause there was 3 old ladies at one meeting come in and said, we don't drive anymore. We'd still like to go shopping in Billings, but we don't drive. And I said, why don't you shop around? No, I didn't say.
We have a Family Dollar now.
Yeah, at a Family Dollar.
Okay.
That's just like Walmart almost. Anyway, she did hand out all these.
Yeah, so they're, I think it's, based on what I'm seeing, that's pretty quick action.
So they're trying,
Done deal.
so I'm encouraged.
Excuse me.
But Darcy, she's not encouraged at all yet. She hates Tracy and it's feelings mutual.
Darcy?
Not
Marcy.
Marcy.
Marcy Brooker.
I'm sorry. Darcy might hate her too, I don't know.
Council. That's area 2.
Yeah, area 2, she wants to see some actual, yeah. So,
She plays by the rules.
but that went on for a good 4 hours.
Well,
Wow.
this is a good intersection. So, Ross called me yesterday and he was
Yeah.
in town for this. Was he there?
No.
No, he was in town for area 2
Oh,
Council on Aging meeting.
yeah.
And, or he was maybe not in, wherever they had it. And
They
he
haven't
called to
got the
remind
area
me,
two office.
two things, just kind of overall get a feel for what we thought, you know, and I shared with our concerns.
Yeah,
And then, he did remind me that we're probably gonna wanna change, let me switch to Snowy Mountain.
okay.
That our board member at large is not attending any of the meetings. And that we're probably gonna ask us to replace that individual with somebody that will,
Makes sense.
Who is it?
Louisa Cole.
Nicole.
Oh,
And she warned us when she took it that she might be able, not be able to, so
Yeah.
we'll, we tried Kelly, but I told her we vote for somebody, so put your thinking caps on.
who is it now with Snowy Mountain, the
Yeah.
board member at large?
Yeah, board member at large, there's a commissioner and there's a member at large, and they're wanting that
Well,
member
I'm
at
sure
large
we
to
can find
focus.
somebody.
No, we can't. We have a hard time finding people
I know we do,
for anything.
maybe Norma,
Yeah,
For
normal.
what?
be a member at large for the Snowy
Snowy
Mountain Economic
Mountain.
Development Board.
Up in
You can
Lewiston.
zoom it,
Yeah, don't have
or you
to.
can drive Lewistown.
Oh, well.
Oh, you might, if it interests you, I mean, if
Well, I would have to know what it involves and whatever. You know, I'd be interested. All
you,
right.
okay, we'll explore that.
And that was Ross
Ross Butcher.
from Fergus County.
Let me Give my 2 cents.
Okay.
Throw in my opinion.
Mm.
Well, you seem to be aware of some of these economic things that are going on.
Sure.
Plug you in, you're part of the Roundup Community Partners, aren't you?
Mhm.
Okay.
There's a meeting on Monday for that, right?
Roundup Community Partners?
No, they usually meet on
Thursdays.
Thursday, every other
Yeah.
month, every even
Well,
month.
somebody called me yesterday.
Oh, there's a community coffee or something weird.
Yeah,
Oh.
there's community coffee coming up.
Because
I
somebody
didn't-
called here, well, I think it was from High Plains,
Oh,
yeah.
I don't have anything on my calendar.
Community meeting, something or
I was looking through my calendar, it's a mess.
Yeah.
other, 6 o'clock, 6:30,
If they make it. It's
At the back porch?
I think at the community, well, I don't know, I'd have to look at my,
Let's run that down if
is
there's.
Teresa coming in today?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
ask her.
can ask her, yeah.
so no other board meetings?
That's all I
Yeah,
can think of.
well, that'd work. Yeah, it would be actually, because then I wouldn't have to go out home. Okay,
And then, yeah, Teresa's coming in.
So we need to know about if we should, if we should run an ad
oh yeah.
for somebody.
Yeah, that'll-
Well, let's kick that around. and
We've
let's
done
just-
that a lot, we've all done that a lot, so.
The only
I
thing
think,
is,
yeah, we'll be
is if
fine.
you run an ad,
Mhm.
well, I'm
Okay.
concerned with the vetting process and getting over
Well, just for
responses.
Okay, so
anything, if you
let me
find
read
out,
this
just text
to
me
you, or
and
you
let me
guys,
know.
I can give it to you. But in accordance with the Area 2 Agency on Aging Advisory Board
Okay.
laws, we request you complete the attached form appointing a county commission representative and a consumer representative from your county to serve on our advisory board for 2025-26. Please return the enclosed form to our office by May 30th. We encourage our county commissioners to advertise advisory board positions to ensure proper representation on the Area 2 Advisory Board as per the Area 2 bylaws, Article 3, Section B1. One county commissioner from each of the counties here named, then one individual person from each of the herein named counties who is 60 years of age or older and who is a participant in a recognized program for the aged in that county. The consumer representative shall be appointed by the county commissioners upon recommendation of the county's council on aging and or center board of directors. So
That narrows it down.
why are we running it if they, I mean, why are we encouraged to advertise? The county commissioners will advertise the advisory council position to ensure participation by handicapped and minority members whose membership is reflected of the ethnic population in that service area.
That kind of verbiage is in every,
The county commissioners shall make their appointment each year before the annual Area 2 Advisory
So
Council
we
meeting
gotta
in
find an
June.
old redneck, huh?
Huh?
We need to find an
Handicap.
old redneck.
Well, and
as long as they limp.
You know, and
so we run,
Birds.
this needs to be turned in by May 30th, but
Yeah.
you take the people before the board in June.
Really?
Well, I guess what I was concerned about, I guess my high level thoughts were, it might be better if we were to think amongst ourselves who we might recommend and see if they were interested. I don't think there's any harm in advertising, other than if you get 1,000 responses, which you probably won't.
Which we probably won't get any, and
Yeah.
then there's the county taxpayer cost.
We
Yeah,
still
I-
have, and we still have it's still our authority to accept them or not.
Yeah.
Accept them, but then that's not even, then the board accepts them, the advisory.
Well, yeah,
Or the-
we can advise.
Yeah. So you guys, I'll put this,
We'll figure it out. You guys agree?
Yeah.
And who would this replace?
Sure.
Mike and
So-
Cheryl.
So it's either you and me as a commissioner,
Mm-hmm.
and find somebody at this other position from the community that we think is, related to the Area 2 Council on Aging. Again, Norma. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I don't wanna get into that hornet's nest.
She's not 60 years old.
Well, that's right.
No, I'm not.
That's
See?
right. I forgot about
I'm not
that.
60.
Well, that was not.
I'm 120.
Or, you know, we do, I think we have the option to just say, go with you and Cheryl again.
True enough.
But that's if it's lucrative, that's if it's,
Yeah, it's the money.
if it's toward him. All right, what else we
We'll
got?
just keep that on your,
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time, is what you're telling us.
Yeah.
We got till May 30th.
well, we have May 30th, yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
if you're gonna run it, that's gonna take,
See if anybody else is interested.
I can always put it up on, we could put it up on the website.
Maybe that wouldn't hurt.
I think it really should be publicly advertised.
In the paper,
I think so.
okay.
Just a little, it doesn't need to be much.
Okay.
Okay,
There's a lot of good people, very qualified people here.
Sure they are. Just if they're interested.
well, if you guys don't have anything else, I'm gonna go and start my minutes for next week.
We're not till Sean, right?
Unless Reed comes in, did I not put Reed on there? I did not put Reed on there, he was sick.
Reed is here and he's coming in.
Okay, I did not put him on there, I'm sorry, Reed.
We'll just stop at the door and say, no,
You're not on the agenda.
You will have to, you're gonna have to go see your
Well, we can amend the agenda to add Reed,
All right, let's do it that way.
okay.
I move that we amend the agenda to add Reed Cooley, extension agent.
Yeah, we'll give him 5 minutes.
Do I hear?
I second it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, motion carried.
He better not be sick coming in here.
You know,
Okay.
he called me.
Let's have
There's brownies out here.
policies, procedures amendment. That they amended in May 28th or 24th. It says the cashier records starting money in cash box each day before patrons come in. Also initialed by the director. After each day's money is collected, the cashier counts the monies, records that amount, hands monies to the director, the director then enters that amount into the QuickBooks accounting system.
I don't know.
So it's supposed to be checks and balances.
We're probably gonna be ordering a refrigerator on any.
Well, I don't think,
So we're
I
probably
mean,
gonna
it's
be.
probably crazy, but I don't think that Tracy is
They're
dipping
talking
into the
about the
money.
freezer though.
She sure wants to run the tight ship.
No, I think
Yeah.
that they're requiring transparency there is really important.
Who we got here?
All right, let's see.
Haley, Ed Haley.
County Commissioners,
Yeah, this is Claudia Pellin.
Hi,
How are you
Claudia.
guys this morning?
doing good, how you doing?
Good. Well, I know you're busy, so I won't take up your time. Hannah Turley and Chris Kirk on the agenda this afternoon to see you. I don't know if you know that.
No,
But they are about cemetery. And anyway, I was asked to go with them, and I'm going to be out of town, and I can't go.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
told Chris Kurt that I would you and confirm that the cemetery board gives its approval
I'm not sure that we can
for
do
her to
that.
continue
So this was the check.
completing the annual final report until further notice.
And that's what happened.
Okay,
So is that all you need to go ahead and do that, to allow that?
oh yeah, well, we certainly discuss it with him, I don't see any problems.
Okay, all right, well, I did my bit, so I hope that helps,
Have a good trip to Walmart.
Was this
Oh, Walmart, no, I usually
No.
made that pretty fast.
That was a
Okay.
Norma Jean
Talk
Trick.
to you later.
You take care.
All right,
You
I don't
too.
mind
Well, thank you.
that. I don't usually.
So
what's
that's,
that about, what's Chris coming to talk to us about?
Well, they're finishing up the books of the cemetery board, I guess.
Okay.
so you know how she did the ARFs? the annual financial reports for the cemetery, that's the word for it.
What?
She wants to continue to do that because they don't know how. And
Okay,
that'll be like her hired by the board to do it or whatever. But Chris and Tana Turley are both coming in today at 1 o'clock. Tana Turley's the board member for the Monster Show.
Cemetery.
okay, very good.
Yeah.
Do we have maps? Where do I find the maps that list the people who were buried in the cemetery?
Claudia,
Huh?
Claudia.
Well, I had Mary Borland, and I also had Doug Rickard, and then I had I had people from Muscle Shell. They say they can't find those maps, and they tried to get a hold of Claudia. I told him to go to them. They said, well, there apparently are no maps
That's a good one.
that have those listed.
That's great.
Well, we
And I
have,
thought for sure they would have. You have to have a map somewhere. I know Muscle Shell's got them.
there's a, yeah, Claudia has to have those. She has to. And don't call Linda because every time somebody gives Linda's number out, and
Disaster.
Claudia gets mad, so don't.
Claudia's a good person. I think she's.
Oh,
She might be a little bit of age there going on. Well, and she's also taking care of her
Husband.
They should have a lot of problems. If they
So,
have maps, they have to have maps to sell those plots.
Yeah, you have to have-
it has to be plotted out,
It's
yeah.
not.
I mean, we have the books, at least the old books of when, what number and everything where people are, the plots, but not a map.
Oh, nice.
Cheryl,
The next one was pie.
do you know of any, wouldn't Claudia have any maps of the, where the plots are? Wouldn't Claudia have the plot maps for the cemetery?
Don't go in.
She should, of like who's in, who's buried,
Yes.
they should.
And what's free?
And like the map and what's free,
Yes.
yeah, they
That
have
would be
to.
Claudia. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, should have asked her, huh? Should have asked her, we had her on the phone.
Was that Claudia or just now? The hell?
She was gonna come in with Chris and Tana, but she's going to buildings instead.
Oh, okay.
Did somebody print this off?
What is it?
It's for expenditure budget versus actual query for
I'll bet you Darcy did that.
solid waste?
Ooh,
Uh-oh.
Solid waste, refuse?
It was sitting there, I put it up there on that table because it was in with my printing.
I don't know.
Sounds good.
I'll just put it back up there.
Sounds exciting.
Ooh, it is. You should come to a meeting, Mike. You'd be thrilled and chilled.
you guys should be running like a well-oiled machine out there.
I don't wear it.
Pretty well.
Yeah, everybody's mad about the we put a $10 charge on people coming and dropping off stuff at the burn pit,
Oh, yeah.
starting May 1st.
So what's that for? What do you-
What was our reasoning behind that, Mike? Do you remember?
Well, because there's too many people
Showing up.
Jumping
showing up with,
giant
with,
loads.
yeah, giant loads of pine boughs and cedar boughs. I know they come from these tracks out here in the
Oh, yeah.
hills. They need to be taking care of that on their own property, not bringing it here. You fill that thing, how many times did they have to do the burning last year? Like 3 times? That's a huge
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
There's no possible way that the refuse can take care of that
So what do you,
volume.
what do you take to the burn pit? Like I've got a bunch of lumber, old lumber and whatnot.
Yeah, you can do that,
Would you guys
As long as
charge me
it's not
$10
painted or
for
anything
that?
like that.
probably. That's,
But we're trying to eliminate people bringing just giant 40-foot trailer full of
yeah.
Well,
cuttings off
why? I
our
mean,
property.
you're spending, I guess if it's not a commercial thing, we raised everybody's fee.
Oh, it's an experiment. They're saying it's gonna be an experiment. And then
Yeah,
maybe,
I mean, obviously, spending $10 isn't the end of the world, don't get me
no,
wrong. The beauty of that place, though, is you're in and out. You go in and you're not,
yeah,
but spending $10 isn't.
so we'll see.
compared to what.
Well, and this is the other thing that's happening, is you have someone who's bringing the boards underneath, or they have boards on top, and then they'll have all these tree limbs underneath. And they have a big old trailer. Well, so it looks like they're trying to get rid of clean up their lot in town, but in fact they aren't.
Right,
So that's what's so,
Okay,
it says, let's just charge them
yeah,
either way.
yeah,
well, and it's not an outrageous,
no,
you know, I tell you, when I lived in Illinois, if you pulled up with a horse trailer, whether it was full or not, it was $90. $90.
wow,
You couldn't get in without paying.
Yeah.
you know.
oh, yeah.
So $10, but then again, no, we weren't paying a fee either, you know. So you might get a little pushback from people.
We have already.
Oh,
already,
yeah.
Even from these guys. We will. Maybe you go to Muscle Shell or Mustang,
Yeah,
do it for free if they want.
Well, there you go. Okay, I am planning, I've got some stuff I need to get rid of, but I think we talked about this before. And
Oh, I wanted to share this with you, Mike. I was asking you if you like poetry.
oh, yeah.
All right, so. At the top, it tells us what I had to do. It's a specific form of poem. And the bottom is what happened. You know, it's not AI created,
It's not,
Ben. No, it's not.
then I don't
it's
know.
much better than
I
that.
wouldn't even wanna look at it.
4 stanzas, each stanza has 5 lines, each line, this is, you know, that's, poetry can be very tricky. I mean, there's many types of poetry.
There are, yeah. This is a weird one.
It isn't just rhyming words.
The first line is repeated, comes back in the first line of all the other stanzas, but line 3 and 5 have to rhyme in every stanza. So you have 5 lines, every line has 6 syllables. You should have seen me trying to work this out on the computer so I could separate.
Yeah, we did a very good job.
So the lady that judged the contest, she said, Muscle Shell, I had to look that up on the computer. That's a long river.
It's
Yes. Great.
very nice. I give you an A+.
Thank you, teacher.
You wanna read about some Muscle Shell River? Yeah, I know all the rules for poems, it just,
Certain types have certain rules. The last one I did was based on the formula for pi.
oh,
So
really?
3.14, so it was like 3 words, 1 word, 4 words, every blah, 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 blah,
Oh,
blah.
really?
Down, you could go as far as 16 lines. I'm like, oh, come
Well, that's an interesting.
on. Yeah, that wasn't so hard.
So you wrote this?
I did.
Yeah, I heard that other guy, AI, what was his name?
Yeah, what was his name? I don't remember.
I saw that. I saw that recently. Where did that come from?
Right in the middle of your
What
place.
the hell? Yeah.
Robert
I wanna say it was
directions.
water is,
You're reading.
Nice and clear.
it's nice and clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was down there screwing around. Right,
Yeah.
That's a great
How,
fish.
how big was he? I mean, how long was
It's
it?
about 23 inches.
Oh, the hell?
Yeah, it was-
So
Holy
that,
smokes,
it didn't
man.
look that big in the picture,
Yeah.
20, but then you were
No.
talking about the fillets, so yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Wow.
There's Mr. Skagen, he comes down, him and his wife, and they catch northerns. Man, they brought northerns out like that.
So,
And I like them, and so he leaves them with me.
There's your Muscle
so
Shell River.
I'm pretty sure that I was hooking northerns because I had stuff grabbing it that kept breaking me off. And I was only using 6-pound tests, so the next time I was gonna go down and play around, I was gonna use some steel leader.
Yeah. You know, there's a corner, it's further east from where you park your pickup,
Uh-huh.
and it's deep. That thing is, you can, oh man, I don't know, but it's deeper than a man standing. And that place is where you can catch some big fish.
Alright, I might go down there and check that out next time. I just felt like
Yeah.
going out for an evening and relaxing and
Oh,
fishing.
heck, yeah.
Fun.
Caught some bass. Caught some, what do they call them? I've never really caught them before. Goldeneye.
Yeah, yeah.
Pulled the first one of those out. I'm going, what the heck is this? Because they almost look kind of troutish.
And the silvery.
Yeah.
Very silver. Yeah, and you can actually eat them.
Really?
They're pretty thin, but I mean,
Of course, you eat about damn near anything you can put in your mouth.
other than a carp.
If you're hungry.
I don't know. Folks eat carp in Ohio, and I just
I cannot deal with a carp.
Carp are commercially fished in the Great Lakes, you know, that's, they used to haul in tons every day, and put them out to the restaurants.
Fish or carp?
Carp,
The hell.
well, they're imported from China.
Well, China, I can see
China,
them.
of course, eats a lot of carp.
They
A
like
lot of
them.
different weird things in China.
Hungary, that's their Christmas dinner, carp.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So they're not, they got a lot of bones, I understand, but they just grind them up so they're better. No.
You can feel that going down.
But they grow so fast and so big if they're in the right environment.
They're kind of fun to catch on a fly rod.
Oh, yeah.
I used to fish for them in Ohio on purpose with a fly rod.
Yeah.
That we had, they're called mulberry trees.
Mm-hmm.
And they drop fruit that kind of looks like a blackberry, except they're a lot sweeter.
Oh, yeah.
And the carp just love those things. And so I figured out where the different mulberry trees were up and down along different rivers. And I'd go out and I tied mulberry flies. And I mean, you make them kind of heavy so they plop when they hit the water.
Yeah.
And those carp would come right after them. And I mean, I catch big ones too. I mean, 30, 35 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
kidding.
On a 5-weight fly rod, man. I mean, that they take you for a ride.
I can imagine.
30 pounds.
Yeah.
Big fish.
Hmm. Mulberry fly, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing they really liked was, well, we had these plants back there, they were like dandelions, but they were a lot bigger. And so they'd kick off like a white dandelion puff, you know, except, I mean, the top was about that big around and they're about that long. And so I had dandelion flies too, that I'd throw out and I'd catch them on. And they like to eat crayfish and nymphs and things like that, so I pick them up on those. But, I mean, they boy, you'd hook them, they'd take off. When they'd spool you.
Huh.
But,
I haven't fished for 40 years. 40? At least.
The heck.
Yes.
I like to go fishing, get out, relax a little bit.
Best thing I ever caught on a fly rod was a bat. I used to go out bat fishing at night,
Yeah.
around the lights, and bats would be flying around there, and
This thing for the Area 2 Agency on Aging, the match thing, it's gonna go on the agenda next week, cause it needs to go on the agenda,
Yeah.
because it's a commissioner's
that's
signature.
fine.
And then we'll do the claim after that,
Yeah, well, she's gonna sit on it anyway.
yeah. Okay,
I used to like to fish on the Missouri River down below that hole today, and fly fish down there. And about every third time I'd go down, I'd catch a swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Cause they'd be swarming